Hello, welcome to episode number 417 of the TEW Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 3 of September 2023. And yeah, it comes off last week's Payback show, which saw, a World Heavyweight Championship main event come into disarray when LA Knight got involved and caused a disqualification. Also, Montez Ford suffered an eye injury in that match that keeps him out of action until No Mercy. He actually can't be on screen with it either. I was going to have him do the sunglasses gimmick, or like the eye patch gimmick or whatever, but I can't even book him in segments, so that won't be happening. But tonight's main event will be a WrestleMania 38 rematch, a grudge match. Former friends turned bitter rivals Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai collide one more time. This time the roles are a little bit reversed. Dakota Kai is the babyface challenger for Io Sky's Women's World Championship at No Mercy. And Tegan Nox is the heel, stablemate of Io. So no more further ado, though, let's jump straight into tonight's show. Show opens up with LA Knight coming to the ring off the back of last week's main event. And he goes, "Well, let me talk to you." He says, I know what you're all thinking. Last week, we were going to see a great World Heavyweight Championship match. We were going to see the champion, that son of a bitch, Montez Ford, taking on Carmelo Hayes, and what a match they were having, ladies and gentlemen. But the result of that match, it don't matter. Okay, they call it a World Heavyweight Championship match. It's a World Heavyweight Championship match in name only, because we all know there's only one man who's the real World Heavyweight Champion, one man who should be the World Heavyweight Champion. And is it Montez Ford? Is it Carmelo Hayes? Nah, it's me. It's the megastar. It's with everybody saying, L.A. Knight, yeah. Hayes comes out, and he goes, you know who I am, LA Knight. You say your name over and over again. Listen, I'm so freaking tired of seeing you around here, man. But last week, I was willing to put you in the rearview mirror. But apparently, you're still all up in my business. Carmelo Hayes' business. Because you're looking at him, and you're just jealous that you'll never be him. Okay? And last week, I had Montez Ford dead to rights, okay? You claim to hate that son of a bitch so much. You claim to say that you're going to be the World Heavyweight Champion at SummerSlam by beating me. You could have proved it last week. You could have let me defeat Montez Ford. And then we could have run it back one more time, me versus you, like we did at SummerSlam. But you're not going to do that, LA Knight, are you? Because you're scared. Because SummerSlam, you didn't have me beat. I'd show you up and I'd end this little phony charade of a movement you got going on here. Because this ain't the LA Knight era. Don't get it twisted, even without the gold on my shoulder. SmackDown is my show. SmackDown belongs to me. Belongs to him. Bianca and Oro Mensah come out. Just Bianca Belair and Oro Mensah. Because, again, here, I don't like having to do Tez's dirty work. Tez would be here tonight. But last week, LA Knight's gruesome attack, Tez, he suffered an injury, okay? And this is Montez Ford's first World Championship run. It's his chance in the spotlight to prove that he is the star that we all knew he should have been. And then reckless assailants like LA Knight and Carmelo Hayes put his livelihood, his championship reign, his life in danger with that attack last week. Who knows when LA Knight's going to be back? Not LA Knight, Montez Ford. And then so looks and goes, "What are you, a dummy?" It's an eye injury, Just put some little eye drops in there and get your ass back to work and defend that championship instead of being a little bitch. Yeah. And then Oro Mensah said to us, "Hey, don't you talk about the World Heavyweight Champion Montez Ford like that, okay? Well, he's gonna be just fine for No Mercy, and he wants to kick both your asses." And Melo goes, "Well, you say, a three-way, huh? Montez Ford, LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, World Heavyweight Championship. Listen here, guy. You're new around here. Hey, ain't you another man down? Where's the other girl? Maybe she's waiting in the back for Carmelo Hayes. Anyway, what matters is what I see going down, I know I can beat you. And you tell Tez I can beat him. I had him beat last week. So it don't matter. Singles match, triple threat, fatal 4-way. You want to throw 10 guys in there. It don't matter because only one of them is the top here on SmackDown. Only one of them is him. There's a lot of thems. So many thems. I'm looking at 2 thems right now. But I'm only one him. And then Adam Pearce comes in and he goes, well, ladies and gentlemen, I see, 3 men in there, making a statement for No Mercy. So, I say that at No Mercy, Montez Ford will defend the World Heavyweight Championship against LA Knight and against Carmelo Hayes. Gentlemen, it is official. And then Bianca's like, oh no, Pierce. Did you not hear what I just said? Okay, like Tez, we don't know when he's out, okay? He could be back in 6 months. But his career could be over because of this brutal injury. And Pierce goes, Bianca, it's a bruised eye. Tez will be back in time for No Mercy. And if he doesn't, then something a little suspicious is going on. And Bianca goes, oh, I'm supposed to be the franchise player here, Pierce. You're treating us like crap. First Chikara goes missing and now this. Ugh. So yeah, there's the announcement for the triple threat match. It's going to be LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, and the champion Montez Ford at No Mercy in a triple threat for the World Heavyweight Championship. 76. Yeah, apparently Nebo and Rufus don't have chemistry as partners, which sort of blows. But oh well. It's Jacob Fatu and Sora Sikoa, Seth Rollins' 2 big, hired Samoan assailants, picking up the win over Rufus and Nebo. Of course, last week, Seth faced Buster Gates in singles action, and Buster beat him. And Nebo and Rufus were in the Battle Royal, as well as Solo and Jacob Fatu, and they eliminated each other. So, yeah. And now, it's time for these 2 teams to go 2-on-2, and yeah, it is Seth's men who pick up the win here tonight. Solo drops Rufus with the Samoan Spike in 13-16. 76 for Jacob Fatu, 79 for Solo Sikoa, 63 for Nebo Barnes, and 46 for Rufus Hamilton. And after the match, Buster and Seth also get involved. And Seth goes, hey, boys, don't you what you're running away for? I thought you wanted to make a name off the back of Seth freaking Rollins. You call yourselves the Revolution. Well, I should probably, get my royalties for that one because you're looking at the revolutionary, the visionary, Seth freaking Rollins and his 2 men who just put your men down in the mat. So here's what I see going down. Huh? Buster, congratulations, you beat me last week. But my boys, they beat your boys tonight. So how about a No Mercy? You bring your little friends, and I'll bring my little friends, and we settle this in a 6-man tag team match. And Buster just laughs. He goes, Seth, what happens with Rufus and Nebo, it don't matter because beating Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa, that weren't on our agenda. I mean, we'll do it again at No Mercy if, that's really what you want, to be embarrassed against Seth. But what matters was beating you and stopping you and realizing the mistake you've made, releasing the revolution on the world. Because now, the revolutionary, as you called yourself, he can sit down and look up as the 3 men he brought in and cast aside step over him to the top of the mountain. See you at No Mercy, Seth. We then cut backstage, and it's Bianca and Oro. Bianca's on the phone to Tez. He goes, he's booked you, get this. He's booked you No Mercy triple threat match. You're defending against Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight. Let me hear, we can't hear what he's saying, but we can just hear that it is Montez Ford on the other side of the phone. And Oro goes, oh, wait, Bianca, hold up. She goes, I gotta go. And then Oro points out when Chikara Jackson's laid down. He goes, Miss Jackie, are you okay? She goes, Miss Jackie, who did this to you? We were looking for you earlier on tonight, but we couldn't find you. And then Candice just walks past chuckling and goes, oops, seems Jackie's had a bit of an accident out here. I might want to watch these halls. I hear they're slippery this time of year. Who knows what happened? She could have just fell and bumped her head. And then Bianca, of course, glares at Kenneth as she walks off. We then cut to an interview with Fallon Henley, of all people. And Kayla goes, Fallon, I know it's been a while since I've seen you here on SmackDown. You know, how are you feeling, you know, after a couple of weeks away? She goes, well, when I came to SmackDown, my boys, you know, Otis and Brooks, they were sent back over to Raw, so I've been, you know, doing the old solo rodeo around here recently, and it's not gone exactly to plan as of yet. So I'm seeing, you know, what's going on with Otis and Brooks over on Raw, and, you know, they've got a big match coming up tomorrow night, and I wish I could be there, but I'm not. So I just hope Otis and Brooks get their revenge on those evil people who, you know, broke my Otis's heart. But what matters is what's happening here on SmackDown, and I see at top of the pen is Queendom. You know, their influence trickles down all the way to the bottom. People at my level, but I'm not going to stop till I get to that level. You know, you got to fall off your horse a couple of times before you learn how to ride it. And I've fallen off of the horse a couple of times here in the women's division, but I'm going to get back on the saddle tonight and continue my ascent. And then Cammy just sort of walks in, Piper Niven and Utami behind her. And she goes, well, again with the horse, okay, listen, losers like you don't get placed in the Queendom, because, again, you're a loser, and the Queendom is for winners, for champions, and for the best. And if you want to prove that you are the best and you could possibly be on that level, try it tonight. The heir apparent, Utami Hayashishita, she's looking for action tonight. She'll see you out there, cowgirl. 63 rated match. Whatever. It is what it fucking is. And what it fucking is Tony D'Angelo versus Omos. It goes 7-19. Of course this has no psychology. It's Tony D'Angelo versus Omos. And Omos does pick up the win in 7-19. He hits that double choke slam on Tony. Puts a foot on his chest, beats him. 43 for Tony D, 75 for Omos. Yeah. That's the match. After the match, Omos stands tall, you know, Veer and Sanga by his side, Bivens in there as well. When Stacks and Two Dimes try and get the jump on Indusher, and they do. They fight, like, take Indusher on the outside. And that's when Tony D, he grabs the crowbar and he starts wailing on the back of Omos's leg, trying to take him down. But Omos does grab the crowbar. And he boots Tony D to the floor. And then he goes to deliver another big chokeslam to Tony D. When Big Problem Cass steps over the top rope. And he stares down Omos. And he has his arm in a sling. He takes off that sling, throws it on the floor. And he gives the Nigerian Giant a big body slam to a massive pop. So yeah, this whole time, he has been injured, Big Cass, that is. I called him up with a torn rotator cuff. And he's just now been cleared. So yeah, he finally gets physical for the first time. His first move being back here in WWE, slamming the Nigerian Giant Omos to a massive ovation. It's like Hogan and Andre all over again. You know, a tale as old as time. They'll be telling our kids about this in future generations. The time Big Problem Cass, you know, pulled a fast one on the Nigerian Giant. We then see Chase U. They're in Chase U minus Thea Hale. I also should have put Haley Paul on the screen here, but I didn't for some reason. They're prepping Hams and Morgan for their title match coming up Unforgiven tomorrow night. So this is obviously pre-taped. And they're in the school halls, they're in the gym. They've got somebody in, you know, playing as a gym teacher. I don't know who that would be. Who'd be funny for that role? I guess... No. I guess maybe like fucking Albert or something, because he's like the coach of the PC. He serves as the gym teacher for Sheishu. And yeah, just getting them all prepared, how to dodge stuff. Probably doing just I'm losing my ability to speak here. A collage, a montage, that's what I'm looking for, of them doing various sports, like climbing, like, you know, climbing those monkey frames or whatever, monkey bars. And then playing dodgeball, avoiding the balls and shit. Just, you know, light-hearted PE stuff, but fear nowhere to be seen. Oh, Did I just rate Florence on this? I mean, I'm assuming so because the other person in the segment wouldn't help it. But also, Florence is getting 100s by herself. Okay, so this is a 100 rated promo from Florence. She comes out. And she goes, I'm hearing a lot of talk about, you know, the SmackDown Women's Division and how it's thriving and how the Women's Division is carrying this brand. I've had some people say. They've said names like Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, you know, Asuka, Utami Hayashishita. The list goes on, it really does. But how many of those women have this? And she holds up the case. And she goes, so, with this in my possession, I feel like I am the woman to beat here on SmackDown, because beating me should put you in line for a women's title match, because I have that golden ticket, that perfect opportunity to cash in and become the new WWE Women's World Champion. But I'm just looking for a fight tonight. I'm not looking to cash in because our esteemed champion isn't here for the second week in a row. Anyway, it's time for me to just, you know, anyone in the back who thinks they've got what it takes to beat Miss Money in the Bank, come out and let yourself be known.
So we get that doughy. No, we don't count it slowly. Stop that talking. Better show me. I fly a better top. I keep money.
Out comes B-Fab. You know, Swerve last week told her to push herself, you know, and to start winning, proving your worth. And I guess she's done just that by stepping up to Miss Money in the Bank Florence here tonight. And the match gets an 81, you know, probably B-Fab's best match ever. She does hang 10 minutes, but in the end, of course, Florence does win with the rain flow in 10:02. 85 for Florence, 52 for B-Fab. So yeah, Florence, she plays up the win, you know, B-Fab does impress though. But then after the match, Swerve comes out and he's got the rest of the other teamers of Hit Row with him. I imagine B-Fab, she's like sat in the corner, like trying to regain herself after her hard-fought match. And he gets into the ring. And he just laughs. I imagine he like squats down in the corner, like right in her face. As Top Dollar and Shanky just watch on awkwardly. And he goes, "Good job, B. Huh? You got all these people on their feet. You got all these people watching, believing in you. For a split second there, they thought you were on the level of Miss Money in the Bank. But I don't see a woman on the level of Miss Money in the Bank in this ring right here, do I? I see a defeated, dejected rookie who bit off more than she could chew. And more importantly than that, I see another L on the record of Hit Row. As our name, my name, continues to be messed with. You know, first you got Top Dollar and Ashanti losing everything until they fluke out a Battle Royal win. You got B-Fab losing everything when she does decide she wants to step into the ring. I'm winning, okay? I was United States champion for many months, okay? Sure, I may have lost it since then, but, you know, not all title reigns last forever. I've got a new target right now. I'ma prove why I am the greatest to ever do it. And to do that, I've got to prove that I'm greater than the current greatest to ever do it. That being John Cena. John Cena comes out and he goes, fine speech. He goes, Swerve, is it, you know? I see a lot in you, kid. You know, when I was away and I was watching from afar, I saw Hit Row and I thought, yes, this is it. You know, this is the John Cena rise to the top. Albeit maybe a little bit too on the nose with the whole rap stuff. But hey, we've all got to do something. You're not the Dr. Thugonomics, you never will be. But hey, you know, you got something. And I like seeing young stars grab that brass ring, because I did. I grabbed that brass ring. Swerve, you know, I used to be a loser. There's nothing wrong with losing a match every now and again. We all have peaks. We all have valleys. We go up and down and up and down. That's the way this business works. Okay, 1 week I could win, the next week I could lose, or I could lose 6 months in a row, or I could win 5 months in a row. It don't matter. What matters is that they care. And right now, Swerve, you may not want to admit this, but for the first time in a little while, and possibly, the most in their young careers, these people are starting to care about Hit Row. Mixed reaction depending on, whether or not you are starting to care about Hit Row from the crowd. And so goes, John, you don't get it. It's not about caring about Hit Row. It's about caring about Swerve Scott. Okay? Because this ain't Hit Row's studio. Okay? This is Swerve's house. These people, Darla, Ashanti, B-Fab, they knew what they were. Check it. There'd be nothing without me. Check the receipts. L after L after L, they only win when I'm around. But John, you're in my way. Back at SummerSlam, I thought, Top Dollar and Ashanti, disgraced a Hit Row record by you putting your filthy hands all over it. But now I realize that happened for a reason, John. Because that brought us together. That brought us together, John. But unfortunately for you, you're gonna wish that never happened. And Swerve, he clocks John Cena with the microphone in the head. And he then shouts at Top Dollar and Ashanti. He probably slaps Top Dollar and goes, attack him, beat his ass, huh? You're gonna beat John Cena's ass, huh? Prove you mean business. You wanna prove you mean business? Beat up the greatest of all time. And then Top Dollar, of course, he's hesitant. He sort of looks across at B-Fab. B-Fab sort of like, holding off, like doesn't really want to talk back to Swerve either. And then Ashanti and Top Dollar do go over to John Cena and pick him up. Went outrun Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens, he storms the ring, he stuns Top Dollar. Sami, exploder suplex, haluva kick to Ashanti the Adonis. And Swerve, he's left the ring. He's just there, like, pinching the bridge of his nose, just shaking his head. And B-Fab's watching on, checking on Top Dollar and Ashanti, like an actual friend. We then come back to Adam Pearce. And he says, so, I'm sure you all saw last week's Payback special episode of SmackDown. And you saw the violent end to that last man standing match. When it came to Keith Lee and Bronson Steiner, neither man was the last man standing because neither man could beat the count of 10. And usually a last man standing match means there has to be a winner. But that wasn't the case. But with these two men, it's getting to the point where now this has to come to an end, and we have to find out who the better man really is. And that's why, at No Mercy, it will be Bronson Steiner taking on Keith Lee. I quit. Yeah, big announcement from Mr. Adam Pearce. Keith Lee and Bronson Steiner, I quit. At No Mercy. 85? There we go. Breaking kayfabe, I had no idea who was announcing this when I answering this when I announced the Open Challenge. So Nathan Fraser it is, and I'm glad I did him now because he had a banger. Pete Dunne defeats him though in 12:23 with a bitter end. Makes events number 5 of the US title. Pete gets an 85. Nathan Fraser gets an 89. Holy shit. But yeah, another defense for Pete Dunne, who stands tall. But then after the match, Tricky Willie comes out by himself. And he goes, well, listen here. Look who we got. It's the Bruiserweight. It's Pete Dunne. I'm going to keep my eye on your old Tricky Willie. He's been keeping an eye on what you've been doing here, Pete. You know, from your days wrestling Carmelo Hayes, you know, when Melo took that World Heavyweight Championship from you. Let's talk about it. But now, Melo, he's got a chance to get that World Heavyweight Championship back. And if Trick and Melo Gang is going to keep being Trick and Melo Gang and being on top here on SmackDown, it's going to have to be Tricky Willie becoming United States Champion. And Pete just goes, so you want a title shot? You're on. I'll fight you anytime, Trick. But just know this. I don't want you to beaten off more than you can chew. Be sure you're ready. Because I ain't in the business of wasting my time on bums who aren't ready. And then Pete sort of like shoulder treks him on the way out. 85 rated segment. Bianca Belair, she's just finished, you know, like taking Jakara Jackson away, and she's back on the phone with Tez, and she goes, you know, it's okay, but I just had to rush Miss Jackie to the hospital because I think Candice attacked her. You know how Candice is, you know, sneaks behind people's backs and attacking people like a coward. Anyway, I left RO over in the locker room, and I've got to go check how he's doing real quick, Tez. So I'll speak to you again later. She opens the door. RO Mensah's laid out as well. And Bianca looks in disgust. She goes, well, who did this? And then we hear him off screen. He's not on screen. We just hear his voice, but you know whose voice it is. You go, let me talk to you. Maybe he slipped on the floor. Yeah. Oh, 76. Okay. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's Utami against Fallon Henley. Well, that is why I'm surprised, because Fallon's in it, but Utami, you know, gets an 85. So I guess carrying her is good. But it is, of course, a win for the heir apparent Utami Hayashishita, who defeats Fallon Henley 8-51 by submission with a sleeper hold. 85 for Utami, 43 for Fallon. A big win for Queen's Quest here tonight. And in the main event, it will be another member of Queendom. It will be Tegan Knox taking on Dakota Kai. So can they go 2-0 tonight? Who knows? But what I do know is that Asuka is storming to the ring. Asuka, you know, it was made official last week that she'd be facing Utami at No Mercy. And she comes down, she spits red mist in the face of Utami. I've learned my mist lore recently. Like the colours of the mist that like Japanese wrestlers spit. And so I'm actually gonna put that into practice here. Because it's like green mist is, you know, the normal mist you normally get. And then the red mist is like super spicy eye burning mist or some shit, and that's the one she spits in the face of Utami here tonight. And then of course Piper's there to try and chase Asuka off. Asuka probably delivers a couple of kicks to her, but Piper stays on her feet, and then Asuka sort of thinks better of it and just leaves, you know, to keep her looking strong instead of knocking her down. And then Cammy's of course tending to the eyes of Utami after she just got red misted in the face. We then cut back to Adam Pearce just chilling in his office when there's a knock on the door. And he goes, come in. And then his face sort of goes from like intrigue to go like, who is it? To just bewilderment. And in walks this man in a suit. And Pearce goes, can I help you? And he goes, yes. As you all know me, I am Luca Crusifino, attorney at law, you know, #1 lawyer here in WWE, making my appearance here on SmackDown. And Pearce goes, okay, and what seems to be the problem? You seem to be the problem, Mr. Pearce. And he slams papers down his set and goes, you're being served. Pearce goes, being served? By who? And she goes, my client says that last week you attempted to book them in a match against a dangerous opponent whilst they were still injured. Is that true, Mr. Adam Pearce? And he goes, no. Like, us, we take safety and health very seriously here on SmackDown, you know. Who is your client? He goes, that doesn't matter. What matters is that my client took business into their own hands earlier this week, and, you know, that match didn't happen, and has reached out to me to, you know, sort out your gross mishandling of their situation, because apparently they got another test and apparently their nose is no longer broken, or they thought their nose was no longer broken, but turns out it is still broken, so they couldn't actually face Becky Lynch when you said that my client should face Becky Lynch, and that's how my client got out of that match and made Mariah May wrestle Becky Lynch instead. And Pierce goes, oh really? Okay. Oh, and tell your client, okay, whoever she may be, I mean they may be, that you can't just go slamming around fake lawsuits like this. And if she's got a problem with me, they've got a problem with me, whoever your client may be, I'll see them here next week. Toodles. Out of my office. 84. I was hoping for better. Ilya Dragunov and Pistolero go out there and had a fucking 20-minute war. I was hoping it was going to get in the 90s, but apparently they had a lack of psychology. Because of course they did. Pistolero got a bonus for good psychology. Of course. But the game says no, because there's a lack of psychology, okay? Whatever. That makes so much sense. But yes, Ilya, he does defeat Pistolero in 1954. Big pinfall win for Ilya. He gets a 93 and a 90 for Pistolero. And then after that, I imagine the match is better in real life than it is in the game. Also, this is Pistolero's first of 2 matches. He's gone through a 20-minute war with Ilya. But he's also defending the trios titles on Velocity against MSK. So, big night for him. But then as they shake hands, we pan to Brian backstage watching. And Kayla walks up to him and she goes, Brian, last week, Ilya Dragunov, he came to the ring as you were about to, continue your attack on NXT Miles Bourne. Now Ilya Dragunov tonight has gone to war for Pistolero, so, what are your thoughts on that? And Brian goes, my thoughts remain as they were last week, Kayla. Ilya Dragunov he's one of the best. He's very tough. He's a warrior. He goes for a war every time he steps into that ring. But I'm better. I proved that I'm the best wrestler in the world when I beat Kazuchika Okada at SummerSlam. And if this Ilya Dragunov thinks he's in my league, we'll have to put that to the test, won't we, Kayla? Me and him, one-on-one. No mercy. Big pop for that announcement, because we all know that's going to be the match of the night. Daniel Bryan against Ilya Dragunov at No Mercy. Speaking of matches, though, we only have one match that's just been made official for next week, following their quote-unquote, whether you want to say their backstage attacks, or you could believe they did slip on wet floor. The point stands that Oro Menzel and Jakara Jackson will team up against LA Knight and Candice LeRae on next week's episode of SmackDown, along with a whole lot more. That lawyer said that his client is going to have a word with Adam Pearce next week. Whatever happens with that. But anyway, moving on to No Mercy. We have a lot of matches announced for the show here tonight, including our World Heavyweight Championship Triple Threat match, as Carmelo Hayes and LA Knight both challenge the World Heavyweight Champion Montez Ford for his gold. On top of that, it will be I Quit. And we've just heard word now that match will be Loser Leaves SmackDown. Bronson Steiner, Keith Lee, I Quit, and No Mercy. And then we have 6-man tag team action as Seth Freakin' Rollins, Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu take on the Revolution's Buster Gates, Nebo Barnes, and Rufus Hamilton. And then, as we just heard moments ago, possibly the match of the night incoming is Bryan Danielson. No, that's not his name. His name is Daniel Bryan. Takes on Ilya Dragunov. A dream match of 2 of the very best in the world today. And speaking of 2 of the very best, you go from that to 2 of the biggest. As just signed off, Big Problem Cass returns to the ring in WWE for the first time in over 5 years, when he collides with the Nigerian giant Omos at No Mercy. 85, yeah, that's good. We take that. I'm glad this got a blue. I didn't want this to bomb. But yes. Oh my god, Tegan Knox. Chill. She carried, apparently. What the fuck was up with Dakota today? She doesn't normally get a 76. She's inconsistent, I guess. But yeah, Dakota does win. 15 minutes and 7 seconds of a Scorpion kick. 76 for Dakota Kai, 84 for Tegan Knox. After the match, Piper Niven's out there and she jumps Dakota Kai. And Piper, being Piper Niven, she has the power advantage. She continues her attack on Dakota. Tegan probably joins in because she gets to her feet in time. Cammy's out there barking orders. When Candice already runs out from the back of a chair to even the odds, she made friends of Dakota Kai last week. She's got a lot going on, Candice. She's feuding with Bianca, and now apparently she's coming to the aid of Dakota Kai. She takes a chair to the back of Piper Niven, she spills to the outside. And Tegan Knox is the only one left on her feet. As she sort of looks across to Dakota, looks across to Candice. These three used to all be friends. And it's been a rough road for all three of them, but now two of them stand in the ring. And one of them looks to be their, target of attack.
Bow down to the queens.
When out of nowhere storms the women's world champion, Io Sky is here. She rushes to the ring, she jumps onto the top rope and she nails that springboard dropkick, wipes Candice out, takes her down to the outside. Dakota charges at her. Io ducks. Io fights her off. I realise I'm phrasing this like a babyface comeback as I'm doing it, but she is the heel, so I guess when Dakota charges at her, she can, Dakota can kick her or whatever, and then Piper Niven will jump to hit her again to get the heels back on top, and then we get the 3-on-1 beatdown to win the show with Tegan, holding Dakota down by her ankles, Piper's got her arms to, hold her in position as Io hits the moonsault. Or, even better, actually, I'm going to ad-lib this right now. That same spot, but instead of Piper, it's Io holding her down, and I don't know if Piper Niven can do this. If she can, then she's doing it. If she can't, then she's just going to do, a big splash. But I'm picturing a Vader bomb, from the top rope, that sort of moonsault. So, if she can do that, then she does it. If she can't, then it's just a big splash, and I'm booking powerhouses to do moves they can't do. But yes, Queendom, sans Utami, because she's got her fiery hot red mist in the face earlier on tonight, stand tall to win the show. 89. Oromensa was used too much. You're going to hate it next week when he's, as it currently stands, in the main event. But yeah, that is the end of SmackDown. Decently fun show. A lot of matches announced for No Mercy after tonight. But we now head across to Velocity Cruiserweight action, including a Trios Championship main event as MSK's Wesley, Tristan Ellison, and Leslie Young face off against Death from Above. Yeah, well, why did my mind go blank there? Show starts off with a 66. It is our anime duo again, Young Sensei, the Cruiserweight Champion, teaming up with Reggie, the two of them have sort of become partners since SummerSlam, taking on Torito Negro and Flamita, two AAA luchadors who sort of look like they could be villainous henchmen, nameless people to attack and beat up. But Sensei does pin them, or not them, not both of them, just Flamita, in 9:17, Gomu Gomu no Boomerang, 49 for Torito, 62 for Flamita, 69 for Reggie, and a 49 for Young Sensei. Reggie carried and seemed off his game, so yeah, go on King. Next we get 69, just a quick match between Evan Bourne and Bobby. Well, not quick, it goes 13 minutes 10. This is, I guess, the best actual Bobby Fish match I've booked in a while. He's normally on the back end of squash defeats. But he is a loser again. Evan Bourne beats him in a 13 minutes and 10 with that airborne. 66 for Evan Bourne, 58 for Bobby Fish. We then get another match. Cedric Alexander, on Velocity, getting a showcase match and win over NXT UK guy JJ Gale. 41 for JJ Gale, 67 for Cedric Alexander, and yeah, just a win to give him. I believe him and Ali are in the next round of the ECW. Yeah, they are. And then the main event is Trios Championship time as MSK, Leslie Young, Tristan Ellison, and Wes Lee take on Death from Above's Pistolero, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado. And in 82, the reign does continue. I very much nearly debated flipping the titles again, but Death from Above do pick up the win. Wesley, Tristan, and Leslie, when Pistolero pins Leslie Young with a Revolution Fly. Defense number 7 of the Cruiserweight Trios titles. Those belts have sort of been moulded to these people right now. I think they've held them since February? Yeah. 65 for Leslie, 64 for Tristan, 87 for Wesley, 81 for Lince, 91 for Grand Metalik, and 92 for Pistolero. With ratings like that, that's why they keep defending these titles, because, they can stick her in there with anybody and they can have a banger. But that does end the show. Scores us 78. What matters more is what you thought of the show. So do let me know what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for episode 418, which will be Unforgiven. Finally, the September pay-per-view. See you then.